Okay. Oh, got you. I see.
Uh-oh.
Something just happened that nobody in the WNBA expected, and it might have changed the entire future of women's basketball in one single moment, because today, Caitlin Clark didn't just return to the court, she stepped up to a microphone and publicly called out the very people who are supposed to be protecting the league, and when she said it, there was no hesitation, no backtracking, and no confusion. The biggest star the WNBA has ever seen just told the Players Union to stop playing games and start playing basketball. And the reason this is so explosive is because while you...
All right, what a day, what a day. The GOAT, Caitlin Clark, made her return to the basketball floor today. I showed y'all, we got some live clips. I'm gonna show y'all some more. But the important part of this video, Caitlin Clark destroyed the WNBA, Nneka Ogwumike, Nafisa Collier, who tries to name drop her at her convenience to win people over, Brianna Stewart, the unrivaled co-founders, all these people that's a part of the board that's signing with Project B, and all of this stuff. Caitlin Clark called their asses out today. She said, stop playing games. We need to play.
Caitlin Clark didn't quietly return to basketball. She took control of the moment because the second she stepped back on the floor, every camera locked onto her and everyone knew this wasn't just about a comeback. Fans have been waiting to see her compete, not shoot around, not smile for photos, but face real competition in a real environment. And she chose this moment carefully because instead of talking about her game, she talked about the league while negotiations drag on and leadership plays politics. Caitlin Clark stepped up and said what nobody else with real influence has been willing to say, that the WNBA needs to stop stalling, stop posturing, and start playing basketball because this moment is bigger than contracts, bigger than leverage, and bigger than side projects. And when she said it, the message was clear. This wasn't frustration. This was leadership from the one player who actually moves the league forward.
Have been waiting quite some time to see Caitlin Clark play basketball. Not only take shots and shoot around, but actually go up against something that looks like competition in an actual, competitive environment. Not just shoot off a rack, not go 1v air, actually play some basketball.
What made this moment explode wasn't just what Caitlin Clark said, it was who she was saying it to, because for months, the WNBA and the Players Union have been locked in messy CBA. Negotiations, deadlines pushed back, seasons put at risk, fans left in the dark, while the very people negotiating on behalf of players are also launching competing leagues, signing side deals, and splitting focus. And that's where the conflict becomes impossible to ignore because the same union leaders delaying agreements are also co-founders of Unrivaled A, 3-on-3 league that benefits directly from WNBA. Instability, and Caitlin Clark didn't need to name names for everyone to understand exactly who she was talking about when she said, stop playing games, we need to play basketball. Because when the league's biggest star finally speaks, the silence from leadership becomes deafening. And the reason this matters is simple. Caitlin Clark is the engine of this moment. She fills arenas, drives ratings, and pulls casual fans into the sport. And when that player publicly signals that the league is being mishandled, it sends a shockwave through owners, sponsors, networks, and fans alike. Because now the question isn't whether the league can grow, it's whether the people in charge are willing to let it. Caitlin Clark didn't just criticize the situation, she drew a clear line between playing basketball and playing politics, because when she spoke, she made it obvious that this isn't about negotiating harder or flexing leverage, it's about protecting the product that fans actually show up for. And she made that point in the simplest way possible by saying the way you grow the league, the way you make money, and the way you build real respect is by putting games on the floor, not by pushing exhibitions, not by promoting side tournaments, and not by dragging negotiations so long that the season itself becomes uncertain. And what made her comments impossible to dismiss is that she wasn't speaking from theory, she was speaking from proof, because she's the one selling out arenas, she's the one driving record ratings, she's the one bringing new. This isn't just about one season or one contract, Because what Caitlin Clark highlighted without saying it directly is that the WNBA is standing at a rare inflection point. Ratings are at record highs, attendance has exploded, expansion teams are selling for hundreds of millions, and media partners are locked into long-term deals. But all of that momentum is fragile because growth only exists as long as fans are engaged. And right now, fans are watching leadership gamble with the product itself. A delayed season, a canceled season, even prolonged uncertainty doesn't just hurt owners, it erodes trust. Casual viewers move on, sponsors hesitate, and the excitement that took years to build disappears fast. And what made Caitlin Clark's comments even more dangerous for the union is the simple reality that the WNBA needs her more than she needs the WNBA. And everyone knows it because she could walk away tomorrow, play overseas, take endorsement money, dominate media, and never touch a WNBA court again. And she'd be fine, but she chooses to be here. She chooses to play. She chooses to build this league. And that loyalty is exactly why her words carry so much weight. Because when the one person with real leverage is calling for compromise, it exposes how disconnected union leadership has become from the players, who actually need the season to happen, because most players don't have side leagues or massive endorsement safety nets. They need games, they need checks, and they need stability. And Caitlin Clark just became the voice saying out loud what many players can't risk saying themselves. There's an uncomfortable truth sitting in the middle of all this, and Caitlin Clark's comments forced everyone to look directly at it, because when union leaders are also founders of competing leagues, every delay benefits them. Controversy creates attention, and every threat to the WNBA season pushes fans toward their alternative product. And that's not leverage, that's a conflict of interest. And Caitlin Clark didn't accuse anyone directly, but she didn't have to, because the timing says everything. When negotiations stall, 3-on-3 leagues suddenly get promoted. The incentives stop, aligning with the league's survival. And once fans see that dynamic, it becomes impossible to unsee. And that's why her message landed like a bomb, because it reframed the entire debate from players versus owners to players and fans versus a leadership structure with divided priorities. The moment Caitlin Clark publicly said we need to play basketball, the pressure flipped instantly, because now if negotiations fail, it's no longer easy to blame the league or the owners. The public narrative changes, and the question becomes, why wasn't compromise possible when the league's biggest star was openly calling for it? And that puts the union in a corner, because continuing to stall now looks less like principle and more like stubbornness, while agreeing to a deal means admitting that Caitlin Clark's intervention changed everything. Either way, the narrative control is gone, and once that happens, public opinion moves fast. Fans follow the star, not the statements, and Caitlin Clark just made it clear where she stands. Without yelling, without threats, and without theatrics, Caitlin Clark executed a quiet checkmate, because she shifted the entire conversation toward fans, toward games, and toward the future instead of leverage and talking points. And by doing that, she reminded everyone of the simplest truth in sports, that nothing grows without the product on the floor. No games means no momentum means no money, and no money means no leverage. And that's why her message hit so hard, because it wasn't emotional, it was undeniable. She didn't say, give up the fight. She said, win it the right way, by playing, dominating, and coming back stronger. And now the league has reached a moment where everyone has to choose: keep playing games behind closed doors, or listen to the one person who actually moves the needle. Because the biggest moment in WNBA history is here, and Caitlin Clark just made it clear she's not letting anyone waste it. This is the moment that will define the next decade of women's basketball, because Caitlin Clark didn't just speak, she forced a decision, and now there's nowhere left to hide. The league has momentum, fans are watching, and the clock is running. And what happens next will reveal who actually cares about the future and who was only playing for leverage, because this isn't about winning a negotiation, it's about protecting a once-in-a-generation opportunity. And Caitlin Clark made her position clear: play the games, grow the league, and fight more from a position of strength, or risk losing everything that's been built. And now the pressure is on the people in charge to prove they were never the obstacle in the first place. So the question is simple: are they going to listen, or are they going to let ego politics and side deals sabotage the biggest moment the WNBA